there's been months where every week it was like an average 9 hours a day of screen time. When I think about it, when I look back on my life, when I'm on my deathbed, if I've spent more than half of my waking hours on a fucking phone instead of living, you prioritize yourself so then you can be the best version of yourself for the people around you. One of the reasons why society right now is so stressed out, more stressed out than we've ever been in history, is because we have these things called PCCs, and it stands for Premature Cognitive Commitment. And basically what it is every time we have our flight or fight response kick in, our threat reflex kick in, right? And the acid drop goes down into our stomach to push food through quicker. Our palms get sweaty, our heart rate goes up. Basically, our body, mind, it takes a snapshot of all the senses that we can see, feel, smell, touch, taste in that moment. So then in the future, if we come into counter with one of those senses again, that's the PCC. That's when the PCC kicks in and starts to alert us, hey, you could be in danger. The problem with that is that was beneficial when we were cavemen, and a lion might jump out and attack us. And so our PCC back then might have been like, the smell of something that is, I don't know, like campfire, which means there's another tribe there which could attack us, get alert. Now we got PCCs fucking everything. They reckon that an 18-year-old kid has got about 100,000 PCCs. So an example of how it would work now is we're watching Instagram, right? And there's a guy on a skateboard and he does a trick and falls off and like whips himself on the skateboard. Our stress threat reflex, it kicks in. Our body goes, oh my God, and our heart rate kicks in and we're jolted, and it's even though we're just looking at it's our stress reflex is kicking in. That means in the future, whenever we see a guy on a skateboard, before anything's even happened, our stress response will start kicking in. Our heart rate will start going up, our palms sweaty, that acid drop, all these things which when it's happening over and over and over, like whether we're looking at our phone or whether it's our phone rings and instantly we've had stressful conversations in the past, so, is this going to be a bad call? Like, all these little things mean that we're spending the entire day in a flight or fight response. It's savage. 100,000 of them for an 18-year-old kid, where nothing around you is going to kill you. So this is part of my practice of looking after myself, is I went airplane mode for a whole month in April, right? It was the first time in over a year, without any exaggeration, the first time in over a year where I've woken up not stressed, and I had calm days where I was relaxed, and I've managed to break these patterns that I'd fallen into, whether that's, waking up and checking your phone and getting obsessed about like the markets and things that aren't actually that important. And it was an opportunity for me to disconnect from the friends and family around me that might have also been causing me stress, where it's, forming dependencies and you're relying on people and it's like, oh, they're relying on you. So it was like, separate yourself. And someone might say, oh, I can't get rid of my phone for a whole weekend. What if someone calls me? And it's like, well, what if that person calls you and you're a half version of yourself because you haven't taken the time to make sure that you are the best version of yourself? So you prioritize yourself so then you can be the best version of yourself for the people around you. Getting rid of this thing is one of the most important things that we could possibly do. It is the number one thing that the entire globe is addicted to, and there needs to be more rehabs which are helping people with screen time, because the phone is fucking hectic. Do yourself a favor, 8 p.m. to 8 a.m, no phone every single night. That's what I love to do. It's kept my screen time below 5 hours, where there's been months where every week it was like an average 9 hours a day of screen time. When I think about it, when I look back on my life, when I'm on my deathbed, if I've spent more than half of my waking hours on a fucking phone instead of living, this is the kind of things that I'm prioritizing right now. So I hope that encourages you. Take that time for yourself. Encourage some friends to do it with you. What I do is, hey, on a Friday, I'm like, hey, I'm getting rid of my phone till Sunday morning, 8 a.m. So I've got all of Saturday free. I want to take time for myself, but I'm going to be at Red Leaf Beach Cafe at 1 p.m. If you want to meet me there, sweet. If not, that's also fine. Maybe you run into your friend, you have this day where you'll find yourself not rushing anywhere, right? It's the first time where you're not rushing. It's wild. All these little things that help your mental health, like having a clean room, right? If you aren't using your phone, I can guarantee you your room's going to be clean within a day if it's not already. You like floss your teeth. You have these little wins when you've got so much. Imagine 9 hours of extra time in a day because you're not like staring at your phone. Wild shit. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. If you've got any questions, fire them through, and hopefully you can take a month to cruise around Indo and have the best time of your life.